And it's time now for business news. We head over to Mike Eppel to check in on the latest. Mike.
Hey, morning, Tammy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average will be continuing its march toward 20,000 today. Opens the day 117 points away from that threshold. And some analysts figure that we could see it before Christmas time, just in time, sort of a holiday victory for Wall Street, which has been well, shall we say, volatile this year. At one point, it was down 10%. It is currently on pace for a gain, when all was said and done, for 2016 of about 10%. This market rebound really started with the U.S. vote. Since that point in time, the Dow, for example, has been up 6 weeks in a row. It's gained 8% since that point. The volatility gauge, investor concern and nervousness, has dropped substantially. And this is even in the face of rising U.S. interest rates and what that's meant to the global market environment. You look at our Canadian dollar this morning at 74.5 cents U.S., and the dollar has dropped pretty substantially here over 5 trading days, losing well over a cent against the U.S. dollar on the prospect for rising U.S. rates as opposed to steady interest rates here in Canada for 2017. The TSX is coming off a gain of about 17 points. It's been sort of inching higher recently, helped out by the price for oil, which this morning showing a little bit of strength as well, 52.35, up by 23 cents. Coming up this morning, we'll get earnings from BlackBerry, the Waterloo-based company which used to dominate the smartphone market, now more of a software maker. After announcing in September it's farming out its production of smartphones with the famous QWERTY keyboard to a third-party supplier, and the software transition should actually result in a slight profit for BlackBerry this quarter. Yesterday they were showing off or opening their autonomous driving technology focus at the QNX headquarters in Ottawa. Maybe some backing from the federal government on there as well. Again, the strategy shift for BlackBerry. Stock price this year down about 20% coming in, so it's got a little bit of work to do to get back up to break even for the year. Volkswagen settling its emissions scandal with Canadian drivers. $2.1 billion was the dollar amount that was agreed to yesterday. This still has to be signed off by lawyers and judges, but at the same time, you look at the breakdown of what Canadian owners of VW and Audi cars are going to get compared to the U.S., and I'm just seeing this morning, anecdotally, it looks as though the Canadian owners are not going to get as much as their U.S. partners. The payout here is anywhere from $5,100 to $7,000 for VW cars with diesel emissions issues. Now, again, this is based on how old the car is, how many miles it has on it. In the United States, though, the range is a little bit higher, up to $10,000. So again, the details of this still being worked out, and it'll be interesting to see when all is said and done the actual comparables. You can get the car fixed, maybe trade it in, get out of a lease. There are all sorts of moving parts still to the story going into the new year, and that's sort of been the background. A lot of uncertainty for the owners of these vehicles, which have these diesel engines that don't live up to the advertised expectations. And continuing in the auto sector, General Motors and Fiat Chrysler both scaling back their U.S. production a little bit going into the holidays. They're going to shut down some of the production lines on small and mid-sized cars, simply because they've got too many of these vehicles on dealer lots. The auto industry this year has continued to see a trend toward big trucks and SUVs, hot sellers, because it comes back to the price for gas, which is still, in the United States, in the low $2 per gallon range. Here it's been anywhere around that dollar per liter area. So again, consumer trends shifting dramatically over the past couple of years, really, as the price for gasoline got that much cheaper. The size of vehicles being demanded by consumers has gotten that much larger. So this is going to result in, at least in the short term, a pendulum swing for some of the U.S. automakers. And again, Tammy, we're going to see if the Dow can get to 10,000 today, and earnings coming up in a few minutes from BlackBerry. Back to you.